Please come.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Please sit down.
Thank you.
Sit down. Good morning.
Good morning.
Anunay. There's something fallen on the
I think
chair.
the cover of the
Kindly
mic.
get up.
No, the sponge cover of the mic, which you.
आप एक मिनट खड़े हो जाइए. नीचे देखो कुछ
Mic
गिरा है?
cover there.
कुछ गिरा है नीचे? अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. Okay. Sit down. I met you in Sankalp. Yeah, sit down. Yeah. So I'll talk to you at the end. Let my colleagues start then. Yeah, I didn't realize this. Yeah.
Mr. Anunay Anand.
Yes.
So you're from Bihar. Which place in Bihar?
Sir, Muzaffarpur district of.
Muzaffarpur. Okay, tell us something about yourself.
Sir, my name is Anunay. I have been born and brought up in Muzaffarpur district of Bihar. Sir, I have done my schooling from Delhi Public School, Bokaro. Sir, then I have done my graduation in chemical engineering from IIT Roorkee. Sir, I have also worked almost a year in Jamnagar refinery of Reliance Industries. And sir, from last 3 years, I have been preparing for civil services with geography as my option.
Last 3 years preparing for civil services. Why not engineering, chemical engineering as a career?
Sir, I got a pre-placement offer in Reliance Industries Limited.
You worked there for 2 years, I've seen.
Yes. Sir, there I believe that, sir, for there my efforts were like numbers, temperature, etc., which did not give the sense of satisfaction, sir. I believe that civil services with my immediate decision making having direct impact, I believe that it will give me a more sense of satisfaction.
There will be no immediate decision making even in the civil services, whether it is IPS or foreign service, forest, or the IAS. You will merely be implementing programs and looking after mundane things like law and order. There's no decision making in the first 10 years.
Sir, but the direct interaction with people will give me greater satisfaction, sir. I believe this.
Okay. And which is the area that you would prefer to work in if you get into the IAS?
Sir, in later years, if specialization required, I would like to work in the field of education or environment, sir. These are two which I believe that I can work in.
What changes would you make in the education, in improving the quality of education in India, in higher institutions?
Yes. Sir, in higher education, sir, I believe that the NEP, which is National Education Policy 2020, I believe it has made very good changes which I would like to implement. Sir, for example, specialized institutions for research, because research is one field where we are lacking. Then again, sir, the recent foreign universities which have been implemented, sir, they're also attracting foreign universities would be great so that our best brains would not migrate.
What will be your inputs? I'm not asking you what the government is doing.
Sir, my specific input would be in higher institution like greater, like of excellence like IITs. Students don't work hard enough in initial years, in where they put many hours in preparation. While entering IIT, they reduce the rigor. I believe that the rigor should be maintained if we want to excel.
That is for the students.
Yes.
What changes are you going to bring?
Sir, I believe that one would be motivation, sir. I would personally visit colleges and so that students who are raw.
How can you visit colleges personally?
Sir, like
It will be allotted a state and a district.
Sir, for example, sir, the DM of Roorkee often visited us when we were in college. And
but only in Roorkee, you can't go
Yes.
across the country.
Sir, one thing I can do is that we can convene the meetings of higher education institutions, and if there are any infrastructural gaps which they believe that is there, I can personally ensure that I would fulfill those gaps.
Okay. This ChatGPT, how is it going to change education?
Sir, ChatGPT is often considered a double-edged sword. First, it will revolutionize education, that students would have
How will it change teaching?
Sir, one challenge which is poses in teaching that catching plagiarism, sir, because
How do you do that?
written assignments which have been often considered as one of the tool of education will now be can be outsourced to ChatGPT by students. This poses a threat to education system.
How would you counter this?
Sir, I believe that the counter is AI-enabled anti-plagiarism software, which I think will be developed and we will catch up.
What can the teachers do? There's a class and there are students who get their answers prepared through chat GPT. What can the teachers do?
Sir, one thing I have seen that schools in USA have banned chat GPT in schools. This thing one can teach.
You can't ban new technology. That is not the solution.
Second being, sir, conveying the students that it is for your own benefit that you should not use chat GPT.
Most students won't listen to you.
Then we'll have to use coercive measures so that they would not able to use chat.
Okay. Now tell me, what is your impression of an impending recession, global recession? Do you think it's likely to come or not?
Sir, many economists have said that in the next year there would be an impending
recession.
This fiscal. Yes, sir, this fiscal year. Sir, I believe that it depends on the further development of Ukraine crisis as well as, sir, how the economies like India and China do. But I believe that we will not enter recession, sir. I don't believe so, because countries like India is doing well with 7% growth, and if China recovers well through this wave of COVID, I think these two countries will pull through, sir.
China's GDP is the lowest in 50 years, 3%.
Yes, sir.
How will China pull?
Sir, it is often said that now China is this year focusing on their internal economic growth. They are.
We're not talking India, China. We're talking about global recession.
Sir, I believe that will not enter recession. Ukraine war will, if.
What are your reasons? If the Ukraine war continues.
If Ukraine war continues, then there will be no option but will enter recession. But I believe that recent events, I think, sir, Ukraine war will, if it placates, then we will not enter recession. It all depends on the Ukraine wars.
Well, let me tell you that most economists believe that globally there will be recession because of inflation, because of falling investments, because of rising commodity prices, because of debt. So that is the assessment of most economists. Now, should that happen, yes, how would India get impacted?
Sir, first would be, sir, foreign capital which India sees, FDI, it may go outside India. So second being, the exports may also be impacted because the consumption expenditure of foreign countries, if decreases, it would adversely impact India's export. So third being, India's supply chain, which is not dependent on itself, may also be impacted. For example, if China's GDP goes down, the API, the active pharmaceutical ingredients, these important components may also be impacted. And fourth being, in the technology field, important ingredients like semiconductor, which we are dependent on other countries. Thus, these are the challenges which India can face.
India is not an export-led economy. So why should global recession impact us? We are a demand-led economy, domestic demand-led economy. So would you like to modify your views?
Sir, even if we are demand-led economy, the production systems in India are often dependent on imports from other countries, various important raw materials which are imported from other countries. Also, sir, FDI is an important component of India's growth. Sir, so I believe that...
So the world is interconnected.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Anand,
yes,
I see from your draft that you have a keen interest in sports. You play football, you've got a medal to the first position in your Inter Bhavan tournament in IIT Roorkee. You also follow football. Now, you say here that you under sports, NCC, National Sports Organization, below that volleyball. So, what was this National Sports Organization? What role did you play there?
Sir, National Sports Organization is a group which is often established in important institutions like IITs and IIMs to encourage students to take up sports in higher education.
Okay, so what was your role there?
Sir, I was a part of the volleyball team.
Now, you follow football, you would have followed the Football World Cup. Are you following the World Cup hockey?
Yes, sir. I am not watching it, but I am following it in
Now,
newspapers.
what is the reason why young Indians watch football, in which India is not so good, and don't watch hockey, in which India has been world champion?
Sir, hockey I do watch because I've watched Olympics and recently India
But the
defeated
World
Spain.
Cup is taking place in our own country.
Yes, sir.
How come you're not watching it?
Sir, I think that when the semi-finals and important stages of the tournament will come, I will watch because
What about football? Did you watch only the finals and the semi-finals? You watched them from the earlier rounds.
yes, I have watched from.
So
all-
what is it that what is the reason why young people are not interested in hockey?
Sir, I think that it is legacy because now that India is doing well in hockey, the sports will get encouragement and will get popularity. The recent dip can be because of historical positions because in the recent last 2 decades, India was not doing that well. So that
But India was not doing well in football, but all of you are watching football. How do you explain the dichotomy?
Sir,
No interest in hockey, but interest in football.
Sir, most of the youngsters who watch football don't watch Indian football. They often watch European teams.
Even worse, you
Yes.
don't take an interest in your country, how it is doing, you watch other countries. What can be done to encourage young people to take a keener interest in Indian sporting activities?
Sir, I believe that the interest would only be generated if we develop a grassroots system of any sports. For example, sir, in cricket, we have developed a grassroots system in which we are doing well. So people are often interested in cricket more. Sir, similarly in hockey, now we have won a medal in Olympics. We have been hosting various events, including this year World Cup. So if such events will be organized in India with India participating and India doing well, which can be through private sponsorships and government scholarship, then I think the youth will take interest.
All right. Now, you are from Muzaffarpur,
Yes.
which is quite close to the Nepal border. Are you following the internal political developments in Nepal?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me some important changes which have taken place in their government?
Yes, sir. Sir, recently the government has changed. Mr. Prachanda has become the
What is his actual name? All right.
Sir,
Okay.
I
And
don't-
who was the prime minister whom he replaced?
Sir, I believe it was Mr. KP Oli. I'm not sure, sir.
No, it was not KP Oli.
Yes.
It is very close to Muzaffarpur, so that's why I thought you would be following what happens in a neighboring foreign country. Which foreign country do you follow in terms of its relations with India most closely? Which one are you most interested in? What about Pakistan? Do you follow Indo-Pak relations?
Yes, sir, I do follow.
Now, the Pakistan Prime Minister yesterday made a statement in regard to relations with India. Can you tell me your assessment of that statement? First of all, what did he say, and then what do you think is the import of that?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I have not read that.
You've
statement.
not read that.
Yes.
Do you watch television news?
Yes, I do watch,
It
but
was not covered this morning or yesterday. How closely do you follow news? How important is news for young people?
sir, it is important. I follow it mostly from newspapers.
So have you read today's papers?
No, sir, I have not read yet.
All right. Now, I'm sure that you would be following India's presidency of the G20.
Yes.
There's an important G20 meeting commencing today, organized by India. Can you tell me about it?
Sir, I think that it is happening in Ahmedabad, sir.
You're wrong. And there was an important G20 meeting which concluded yesterday. What was that devoted to? What was the subject, the theme? And where was it held?
Sir,
It's
I'm
in the
not able-
papers. Well, all G20 activities, meetings, they're covered in the media in a big way. All right. Are you following the Russia-Ukraine war?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What are the, according to you, the main causes of this war?
So the main causes of this war include Ukraine's wish to join NATO.
Okay.
Second being NATO's eastward expansion, continuous NATO.
That's the same.
Yes.
It's one is saying Ukraine wants to join, NATO wants it. It's the same thing. And
Sir, second being the alleged prosecution of Russian ethnicity in the eastern Ukraine region.
okay. Now NATO, where are the headquarters of NATO located?
Sir, it is located in Brussels.
Very
Belgium.
good. And how many members are there? How important an organization is it, according to you? Is it an important organization, just for the name's sake?
Sir, I believe that it is the most important military organization which we have today in the world.
Okay, but you don't know how many members are there. All right, my last question. I'm sure you follow the United Nations. India wants a reform in the UN system. Can you brief me about what reforms we want?
Sir, UN system which we have today are not representative of the today's world situation, sir. For example, sir, in the UNSC, permanent membership, members from Africa as well as growing economies like India are not represented. Sir, second being,
How many permanent members are there in all?
sir, there are 5.
Okay. So, secondly,
Sir, secondly, UN bodies like UNHRC, where members are often elected through voting, even countries like Saudi Arabia, which do not have good human rights records, are being elected. So this is the second issue which has been raised. Sir, third being that often the permanent members block important proposals which is often important. For example, sir, China has recently blocked sanctions against the Junta government of Myanmar. So these are not in the best interest for which the UN was set up.
okay. Now, China had earlier blocked the UN sanctioning of Pakistani terrorists, but recently it lifted that block and the UN has been able to sanction. Which terrorist is that?
Sir, the UN 1373 sanction, I believe it is
1267.
Yes,
Okay. Well, which China had blocked. Now it unblocked, and that just 2 days ago, that terrorist has been sanctioned by the UN. Again, it's in the newspapers. If you haven't read today, you would have read yesterday's papers. It was there.
No, sir,
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Anunay, what is the meaning of your name, Anunay?
Sir, Anunay is a Hindi word which means to pray.
Anunay, Vinay, they are used together. What is that?
Sir, to pray, prarthana karna hai basically, sir.
And Vinay?
Sir, it is used in similar connotation, sir.
Okay. Now, you are a optionally geography.
Yes.
And so, demographic dividend is very much talked about these days. So, what is your, can you explain that? What does it mean?
Sir, demographic dividend, which is a term, which is a dividend which we get from our demography. Sir, we as a population have 64% of the population which is in the working age group of 15 to 59. Thus, it can be a dividend which can push our economy as well as nations.
Very good. And volleyball also you are playing. Who got who is the world champion presently in volleyball? Men
Sir,
volleyball.
Sir, France is the champion, sir.
And second?
Sir, USA.
Okay, good. And what is the dimension of because you have been playing there, dimension of the court?
So it is 9 meter into 18 meter. Yes.
And then what is the thickness of the lines?
So this I cannot recall the exact thickness.
Height of the net?
Yes, sir. It is different for male and female. So it is
male.
7 feet 4 inch for males.
Tell in meters. We follow metric system. Anyhow, forget it. You may be converting it. It will take time. So, and what is the weight of the volleyball?
Sir, it is around 200-250 grams.
200?
To 250 grams.
200 to 250?
250 grams, yes.
No, it is 300 plus, I think. 360.
Sir, the diameter is fixed based on it. Sir, as far as I remember, it is 250 grams.
Okay, doesn't matter. You can check up that. Okay, we'll come to the. Which position you used to play?
Sir, I lifter as well as right back, sir, attacker.
Right attacker.
Yes.
Right means from the back side
Yes.
of the booster. And from where we can do the serve? In volleyball, there is a serve.
Yes, sir. Behind the lines.
Behind the line, some area restriction is there or anywhere in the line?
Sir, you have not to cross the line as the sidelines as well as the back line.
Otherwise, you can stand anywhere. There is no separate marked area.
Sir, as far as I remember, there is no separate
No
marked
separate
area.
marked. Okay, now there is a lot of discussion about the alternate fuels for the vehicles. And our Auto Expo was there recently. Where was it? Auto Expo?
Sir, I do not recall this.
Doesn't matter. Wherever it was. But you have been reading about the vehicles
Yes, sir.
and alternate fuels. Hydrogen is said to be one of the good alternative. And hydrogen can be used in two ways. Which are those two ways?
Sir, one it can be used in internal combustion engine where hydrogen can directly be used as a fuel,
Yeah, secondly.
and second being it can be used in a fuel cell
yeah.
where it can be used to fuel. It can use to electric cars can be used in electric cars as a fuel cells.
So in the fuel cell, what is the output?
Sir, I do not remember the exact output.
There is a internal combustion engine in the fuel cell situation, or there is some motor in the vehicle.
Sir, there is a motor, sir.
So in that
Power.
case, the output has to be electricity,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? And what is the input? Input is hydrogen, what you said. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So what happens there? What is the electrolyte is made of what in that cell? Anode is made of what and cathode is made of what?
Sir, I'm not able to
Okay.
recall exactly.
What do you mean by oxidation reaction?
Sir, oxidation reaction is a term when we gain positive ion, it is called oxidation, and when we lose it is called reduction. Sir, for example, if an element loses electron, it is called oxidation, and when it gains electron, it is called reduction.
So you have reversed now. Earlier you were talking about the when it gains positive ions.
Sir, for electron it is opposite, sir. If it gains positive ion, that means it loses electrons.
But for example, in anode in fuel cell, hydrogen is broken into H plus and electron.
Yes, sir.
So it is not gaining any positive ion. It is only losing electron.
Sir, that means it has gained a positive charge, sir.
Positive charge is gained.
Yes, sir.
But electron is lost.
Yes, sir.
So in fact, it is defined as loss of electron. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And then reduction is the. So there is a redox reaction in the fuel cell. Good. Which one you will recommend that this battery electric car or the fuel cell electric car? Advantage and disadvantage of these two.
Sir, I would recommend a battery system, sir. First, sir, hydrogen being a flammable gas, it is said that it is risky to use directly in internal combustion engine. And sir,
Not in fuel cell. You compare with the fuel cell technology, where you use hydrogen, and then where we use this battery to generate electricity or store electricity. That is electric car, normal electric car.
yes, sir, I believe that fuel cell is a better option, sir.
Why?
Sir, it has lesser risk because here we have redox reaction rather than direct combustion of hydrogen. So thus it is safer option, I believe, sir.
No, you are comparing with the battery, I am telling you.
Yes, sir.
That normal electric vehicles, not with the internal combustion engine of hydrogen. Fuel cell comparison with the
Yes.
listen the question carefully.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. Sir, I believe that hydrogen would be a better option because in lithium-ion batteries, we would be dependent for imports on other countries. Whereas in National Green Hydrogen Mission, we have a target to create 5 TPA production. Thus, we can be self-sufficient in hydrogen fuels.
There is some green hydrogen, then black hydrogen, and there is one more hydrogen. What is that?
Sir, blue hydrogen.
Blue hydrogen. What are these?
Sir, these are the classification of hydrogen on the basis of how they are produced. Sir, green hydrogen is produced through renewable sources of energy, through electrolysis of water. Sir, while blue hydrogen is produced from fossil fuels, whereas the emissions are captured. And sir, in grey hydrogen, it is created from fossil fuels only without capture of the carbon dioxide.
Okay, good. Now the last question to you. You give your opinion on the Uniform Civil Code.
Sir, I believe that Uniform Civil Code should be implemented in India.
Good. Why?
Sir, first being it is a part of our directive principles of state policy. Second, if we can have a uniform criminal code, we can have a uniform civil code. Third, sir, women are often oppressed in the name of distinct civil code. Sir, so it is mostly, according to me, a gender issue, and thus we should implement uniform civil code.
They are going to make it uniform. It is not a better code.
Yes.
Name is not better code or worse code. It can be worse than the present situation for some of the people or some of the women.
Sir, I think that rather than being technical, uniform means taking the best out of each. According to me,
No. Uniform means only similar rather. Uni means one. Form means type. Only one type. Just like school uniform.
sir, I believe that it can be good. Goa has it from 1860s onwards, so we can have it in India as well.
What about the diversity of religion, diversity of customs, and diversity of caste and practices and races in India? India is not it is a nation of nations. So now, would you like to say something?
Sir, I think, sir, we should come above these primordial identities, and I still believe that we should implement UCC.
And we should have imaginary identity only. Identity, how can people lose so easily?
No, sir, they can have it, but first we need to be an Indian, then, sir, we can have our identities.
So then how they will have, once you have uniform, how they can have their own identity then?
Sir, we have examples. For example, sir, in Goa we have UCC. There Christians follow their rules, Muslims follow their rules. So we don't see any problems there.
So Goa means that is separate for Muslims and separate for Christians, or it is same code?
So it is the same code.
So they marry in the same style.
Sir, we can have diversities.
But then how it is uniform? In the school, if you, for example, if somebody goes with some band and all that, they can have their own choice as well as uniform.
Sir,
Anything you want to say?
So according to me, uniform means not one, but uniform means something that we all agree, and others where we can have variations. We need to have some basic, for example, marriage where we adoptions, etc. We can have some common law, and then we can have variations in subcultures.
So variation can be there.
Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of universe?
Sir, universe means one verse. Means
One word. So uniform means one. Your meaning is that you cannot have meaning other than the dictionary meaning.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
How the environment has impacted the present situation in Joshimath?
Sir, environment means natural causes.
I'm generally saying how changes in environment have affected the present situation in Joshimath.
Sir, environment change, which is mostly climate change, has exacerbated the melting of glaciers, which has often led to floods like the Kedarnath floods and the recent Pithoragarh floods. These have impacted the dams.
Joshimath,
Yes, sir.
I'm referring to. Is
Yes.
it because of floods that the situation has become so bad there?
Sir, the Tapovan Vishnugarh project, which was there in Joshimath had been impacted by these floods also, sir.
Mm-hmm.
This has also resulted in the loosening of the soil. This being one factor, sir.
Okay. What
Sir,
else?
Sir, second being the intensity of rainfall has increased recently due to mostly due to climate change. So this has led to increased erosion and thus loosening, leading to subsidence.
Hmm.
So these two are I'm able
What
to.
is the remedy? Any remedy can you suggest to save Joshimath?
Yes, sir. Sir, the first being, I think, sir, the tourism which is there, it should be high value sustainable tourism rather than a larger number of footfalls. We need to just attract high value customers, for example, that of Bhutan. So second being, the unscientific constructions which have taken place need to be reviewed properly. And sir, third being, we do not have a proper waste management in Joshimath. They are mostly soaking pits, which often creates cavities. Thus, we can have a proper waste disposal facility in Joshimath.
So, what do you think this about RVM? You know, the Election Commission is proposing that migrant workers,
Yes.
they should do their voting through the RVM. First is what is the latest news, and secondly, what do you think of it?
Sir, RVM is a remote voting machine. It has been proposed so that India, which has a population of 450 million internal migrants, they are deprived of their right to vote.
Okay, that's fine then.
So it is a multi-constituency remote voting machine from where it can be established at a
So my question was, what is the latest news about this,
yes.
and what do you think of it?
So the latest news is that the Election Commission has postponed its pilot demonstration because the political parties has not all given consensus on this. And sir,
What
I
do
believe,
you think? Yeah.
sir, I believe that until the consensus is not generated, we should not move forward to implement RVM because, sir, election process needs to generate trust, which can be only generated.
This also then would mean that these 450 million people which you're talking of, they will not be able to vote for another 10 years maybe. Will that be okay?
Sir, I believe that even if they vote and the election procedure is not considered fair, sir, we would not have gained the desired consequences which are looking for. So, sir,
So what is the alternative?
sir, the alternative is creating consensus among the political parties.
No, if they don't agree on RVMs, then
Sir, then we can have remote postal ballot system which we have.
okay.
This can be implemented.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anunay. Our discussion with you is over. Kindly wait outside for a few minutes. We'll call you for a feedback.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.